What's up, guys? It's Dan for Blade Reviews, back again with another knife review. This time around we're going to be checking out the Spyderco Chaparral. Frankly, a knife I wish I purchased earlier and could have enjoyed earlier in my knife collecting adventure here, because I really do like this one a lot. It's just a super practical, super functional EDC knife, small, discreet. I've got it next to the Sage 1, and that's no coincidence there. And as some of you may know, the Sage 1 is one of my favorite EDC knives. It's been in my rotation for over 4 years now, and I still regularly carry and use the Sage 1, and I still enjoy it after all these years, and I can't say that about every knife that's crossed my path. So I think it says something, and obviously the Chaparral here shares many similarities to the Sage 1, so it should come as no surprise that this is largely going to be a positive review of the Chaparral. With that said, let's just rattle off some quick specifications. The Chaparral has an overall length of 6.375 inches. It's got a 2.8-inch long blade and weighs only 2.5 ounces, so very nice, small, pocketable EDC knife. Great option for urban or suburban EDC if you're working in an office or just want something that has a smaller footprint but still has plenty of functionality, thoughtful design. I think the Chaparral would be a great choice. Let's pull the Sage 1 off the table and take a closer look at the blade on our Chaparral here. And it has that signature Spyderco leaf shape profile. It's been given a satin finish and a full flat grind. The blade stock is thin. It's only 2 millimeters thick. Let's compare that real quick with the Sage 1 that has a 3 millimeter thick blade. You can see it's a big difference, and it translates not only to the weight and size and thickness of the knife, but also the cutting performance. This really is a little laser. It is perfect for opening packages, mild food prep, maybe peeling or cutting up an apple. That's something I do, try to do that every day. And a knife like the Chaparral is perfect for something like that. Cutting plastic, paper, just your general kind of mild EDC chores. This is a great blade shape for that. Wouldn't want to do any prying or anything heavy duty, obviously, with it, as it is a thin grind and isn't designed to be quote unquote hard used or anything like that. The steel on the Chaparral is CTS XHP, which is a Carpenter steel made in the USA. I really have grown to enjoy CTS XHP. It's on my Spyderco Domino that's also had quite a bit of carry and use along with this Chaparral here. And I think my favorite aspect of CTS XHP is just the ease of maintenance. It sharpens very easily, whether you're stropping or touching it up on ceramic or diamond stones. So just a very, very practical steel. And for a knife that's going to get carried and used every day, I think that's important. You have to be able to sharpen it, and I want to be able to sharpen it quickly and not have to spend half an hour trying to put an edge back on some sort of super steel that is super hard and resistant to sharpening. So CTS XHP is a good choice here. Let's move on to the handle. And the handle has Spyderco's faux carbon fiber. It's actually a G10 handle with a very thin layer of carbon fiber weave on top. Looks nice, it's discreet, provides a little bit of texture. It's got that quilted feel to it, but you know, it's not actual carbon fiber, which will presumably keep the cost down. The handle construction superb. This is a Taiwanese Spyderco, and the Taiwan factory is really, you know, they've got their tolerances dialed in, and the knife is very well made. You can see you've got that stainless steel backspacer. It's flush. When the knife is engaged, you'll notice a little gap here in the lockback, but when you close the blade, it's completely flush, which is nice. So very satisfying, the fit and finish on this knife. Also, something that I think is interesting about the way the Chaparral is built is the fact that it only has 2 visible exterior screws. Obviously, with full stainless steel liners and these scales here, there's other screws inside this handle, but they're not exposed, which makes for a very clean aesthetic. I like that. I like that quite a bit. Ergonomically, the Chaparral is comfortable. It's a small knife. under 3-inch blade, but there's plenty of room for a full grip on this, thanks in part to the 50-50 forward choil here. So I like that. They did install a little bit of jimping on the thumb ramp and in the finger choil, and it certainly gets the job done. It indexes and holds your thumb in place, but it's not super sharp, super abrasive. Your thumb isn't going to be bleeding after you spend some extended time using the Chaparral, which I like as well. So ergonomically, it's very nice. Your pocket clip is the Spyderco wire clip, which is a proven clip design for me. I've been, again, carrying and using this Sage 1 for years, and I'll show you the clip on this. It's definitely showing a little bit of wear, but still strong spring action, very discreet, buries deeply, and the Chaparral is configured in the same way. So this is a knife that is just going to disappear in your pocket, especially if you're wearing darker pants. And it's been slotted for ambidextrous tip-up carry, simple, elegant. I've really come to enjoy this wire clip. Also, the knife is very thin, so it carries easily at 2.5 ounces. You're really not going to feel this one, even if you're wearing thinner material like dress pants or something like that. You're not going to notice the Chaparral that much because it is so thin and light. So very practical again. Great choice for daily carry. Let's talk a little bit about the deployment and lockup. Obviously, you've got the Spyderco spider hole here, and it's easy to get at. It is fairly sharp, so you can get your thumb in there no problem. Some people might find it a little too sharp, but it serves a purpose, and that is to grab onto the skin of your thumb and make sure that every time you try to open the knife, you will. So I can't fault that. But one thing I did notice is that there is a little bit of a kind of a grinding sound when you're opening the knife. I'll see if we can't pick that up here. And that feels like the washers are creating that noise. They're rubbing up there, and it's not a deal breaker. It's a very small detail, but it is something that I noticed, and given the overall positive nature of the review, I wanted to point that out. That is something of a little nitpick here. And if you just pull back on the blade, you don't hear that. So it's only when you're putting lateral pressure on the blade when opening it that you get that noise. But functionally, it does nothing. I mean, it's still smooth deployment. I haven't had any issues with the knife opening. Apparently, there are phosphor bronze washers in here. So anyhow, the lockup is very tight, a solid lockup. It's a lock back, but there's also an internal stop pin in this knife. If you're to take it apart, there's an internal stop pin, and apparently that functions similarly to the triad lock on a cold steel lock back. And that is designed to have a lot of the pressure hit that stop pin than rather hit the tang and the back spring of the back lock. And what that'll do is prevent up and down play, which does develop on some of the other Spyderco lockbacks, namely the Endura and Delica. The Japanese plastic-handled Spyderco lockbacks are notorious for developing up and down play. And this was a move on Spyderco's part to try to mitigate that. And so far, I mean, it totally works. There's no issues here with blade play up and down, side to side. Very robust. So I think that was a good choice to put that stop pin in there. Anyhow, that pretty much takes us through the entire knife, all the features and specs and my thoughts on it. Parting thoughts, I think the Chaparral is a great little knife at just north of $100. I think it represents a good value. You get the premium steel, exceptional fit and finish from the Taichung, Taiwan factory. And then you've got Spyderco's just signature, very, very practical design, thumb hole, great ergonomics, just general thoughtfulness that Spyderco's known for in this small, discreet package that you can carry every day and open up and use it, and nobody will bat an eye at it. So I just think that it's a really practical choice. I like the Chaparral a lot and recommend it if you're at all interested in the knife. Alright guys, that is the review. Once again, this is Dan for BladeReviews.com. Thanks for joining me. Take care, and I'll be back soon with another knife review.